Gorr was a nobody. He was just somebody that was raised very pious.
He looked like a farmer.
And
he was just a religious fanatic. Like he loved his god.
And you can actually notice that in the trailer.
We think
he has tattoos all over his body, which
another thing I haven't heard anybody say.
Yeah.
I feel like those tattooed lines are religious marks. Because they're on his shoulders, they're on his head, they run down his body.
Are they still there when he's got the scarred up face? I was about to say.
They're exactly where they were. The scars are
perfectly aligned with where you see those markings under his eyes are scarred.
Cuts him out. I think he abandons his religion.
The scars don't make a lot of sense then, but I get it.
Well, if you had a
drastically get rid, if you got a lot of power all of a sudden where you don't feel pain, and you had religious markings, and you hate the religion, the gods that were based on the religion, you would just get rid of them.
And even if it's prior to, because the scene kind of makes it look like it might be prior to him getting the sword. We don't know because we never see him fully covered and grabbing the sword at the same time. But if our timeline bases like he grabs the sword and has this dream of Null, or this is when it happens, he already has the scars. Could you imagine you've been in the field working all day? You come home to your wife and children and your entire village slaughtered.
Oh.
Even though the gods had told you multiple times that they'd be there to protect you. You cry out and you begin to walk in the desert because there's nothing left for you. And out of pure frustration, you begin to scratch and try to rip it out of your skin.
Are you just coming up with this again?
No, it's close to what...
It's not far off. Like part of it...
Literally the only part he skipped was... He was super religious, and so was his clan of like his community.
This is the story.
His wife and daughter, his wife and daughter were killed.
That's all.
In one story, it was a drought or whatever, but literally the gods wouldn't help them, and he went to the rest of his clans like the gods are bullshit. The gods don't care about us, or they're not real.
What you're telling me,
one way or the other,
is what you're telling me is he does remove them. Like in the comics?
No, he didn't have them.
He didn't have them in the comics.
Oh.
But he was super religious, and he went to in the comics. He went to his clans like, "It's bullshit. They're not taking care of us, or they're not real. They either don't exist, or they're fucking negligent and don't care for us because this wouldn't happen."
A scene is
they kicked him out of the clan, so then he walked through the desert by himself because he had been kicked out because they're like, "How could you speak badly of the gods?" And he's like, because they're bullshit.
And you're saying maybe we get a scene where he's like...
I think he'll be walking through the desert.
Gnashing.
And he's like, because it's always sun on his planet. So he's thirsty, he's hungry, he feels forsaken, and he just goes and
There's a drought.
Always.
He begins to...
They don't have nighttime.
Scratch at his face. That's why, like, the scars aren't adding up. Like, there's not like a cut or any. It's like it looks like somebody tore at the skin. And what's more impactful, like somebody abandoning their religion or somebody literally peeling it from their skin?
You're going to feel for this guy.
Graphic.
He's going to end up being literally a serial killer. Yeah. But you're going to understand why he got there. The same way that we understood Thanos, even if you don't agree with killing half the universe.
Right.
You understood, okay, Thanos at least had a reasoning behind it. It's going to be the same thing for him. He's a serial killer, and we're not going to agree with him going on a rampage of killing gods. But in the comics, he goes from a nothing. He's no stronger or more agile or anything than a human. Like, he's just this being that has devoted his life to honoring the gods. And then all of a sudden, his wife and kids die. I think his wife and daughter dies, but he has another daughter that's still alive, and she's like, "Where's Mama?" And he's like, "She's dead. The gods didn't protect us." And like, he's just changing.
And
it's
honestly,
just that point of
that
reference
could be
where he's changing.
That could be the scene where he's like walking through the vegetation, and he's like in the trailer, you literally
I make this vow. All the gods must die.
But he still has the religious marks, so that's why I think he says that to maybe his other villagers or whatever, and they're like, "You can't be here anymore. You need to leave." And he walks off, and that's when he's on like the brink of death, and is like just so angry. He just starts.
You're saying,
because like it's kind of like looking at yourself and being so like disgusted by something that you're like, "Get it off of me, get it out of me," and then that's when he like, I think once he's done and you could see like these fresh scar marks, he'll like look up and there'll be like this glint from a cave or this glint on the beach or whatever.
He could find a puddle of water that he's like so anxious to drink from and see his reflection.
And whatever, and he'll see the sword and he'll go and grab the sword or whatever. Something along those lines, something cinematic and dramatic. Again, as we always say, Kevin Feige, whenever you want to hire me and Josh on as writers for Marvel, we are here willing to take
at
your
your service.
Hey there, hope you enjoyed that clip. You can find more clips like this and full video episodes of the Small Stuff Podcast on our YouTube channel. You can also listen to full episodes of the Small Stuff Podcast in audio form wherever it is you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, all the places. Also, follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All the links are in the description. Have a nice day.